Good morning to all. Myself Shreya Sinha, and let's talk about our new topic, which is integers. Now let's start this. Firstly, I will cover these subtopics. I will try to cover these subtopics in this whole video. So let's start talking about what is an integer. So you know what is a number line? Yeah, so let me bring the number line over here. So till now we know that this one is a 0 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and so on. And what if I ask you what lies at the left side of the zeros? Now you know that these numbers are at the right side of 0 and they are called the positive number. I think you know that. So at the right side of the 0, the numbers over here, the right side of the 0, the numbers are called the positive numbers. Positive number. And what lies at the right side of the 0? Sorry, at the left side of the 0. So, the numbers, you know that, the negative numbers, which are something like this. They are represented as -1, -2, -3, -4 and so on. So, these numbers, we know that at the right side of the 0 over here, these numbers are called the positive numbers, and at the left side of the 0, these numbers are called the negative numbers. Negative number. Now let me tell you again that these numbers at the right side of the 0 are called the positive numbers, and the numbers which are at the left side of the 0 are called the negative number, and they are represented by the sign of the minus. And the positive number can be represented in the two ways. It can be represented, let's take that I have to represent 3. So I will represent this 3 like this, or I can use a plus sign to represent that like this. Because it is common, the positive numbers are common, and that's why we can represent this positive number simply without a sign also. That we use in the addition and subtraction. We represent these numbers, these positive numbers, without the plus sign. So now I think you are clear with what are the integers. No, wait a minute. What is the integers? So, the integers, all the number over here are the integers. In the simple word, I can see that all the numbers on the number line, including the negative numbers, including the positive numbers, and including the 0. These all the numbers are what we called integers. We call these whole numbers, these numbers as integers. Now, let's talk about the absolute value. But first, here wait, that you should know that all the negative numbers, all the positive numbers and the 0, these whole makes the number line, and the numbers on the number line are called the integers. So let's learn about the absolute value over here. So firstly, let me raise this. So, what is a absolute value? So let's talk about that. Firstly, I will take here the integers, any random integer, and over here I will write the absolute value. So firstly, what is the absolute value? What does the absolute value do? That the absolute value ignore the number, ignore the sign of the number. If it is positive, if it is negative, there is no matter in the absolute value. The absolute value only focus on on the number, don't the sign. What I mean? Let me tell you the examples of that. So, take that I have a number like -18. So, I have here -18. Now, the absolute value of -18 will be 18. Why is that? Because absolute value ignores the sign. If it is positive, if it is negative, don't matter. We have to already write the number. So, the absolute value of the -18 will be the 18 itself. And what if I write here the +3? So, if I have here +3, so what will be its absolute value? Of course, the absolute value will be the 3 itself. Then, what if I have here like say that -3? So, the -3 in the absolute value will represented in the absolute value as 3. So now here you can see that in the absolute value the negative and positive numbers don't matter. The face value of number is only matter in the absolute value. The absolute value in the same simple word, the absolute value ignores the sign and only focus on the number. And here is a special sign to this absolute value. As you know that the equal to sign is the two horizontal line, something like this. So this sign represents equal to or equal. Then similarly in the absolute value we have a sign, a particular sign. What's that? Let me tell you. So take that. So if firstly the absolute value, the sign of the absolute value is just two vertical lines. The sign of the absolute value is two vertical line like this, something like this. Now, but they are not written like something like this. I have to represent minus or -16. So I will don't write it like this. How to write this? I have to use something like this. I have to write that something like this. -16 is equal to 16 and the vertical lines over here. What we have to do? We have to place first vertical line at the left side of the number which you have with number or the integers, and then the second vertical line after the integer. So that's how I will represent, you will represent that we are converting the number into the absolute value, or we are writing the absolute value of this number, of any number you can say. So I think that absolute value is also clear to you. Let's move on to the addition of integers. First let me draw this. So firstly let me change the marker also. Okay, now that's good. So firstly let's talk about the addition of integers. So it is not similar or same as the addition of the positive number. It is slightly different. Let me tell you. In this addition of integers includes all the numbers, also the negative numbers. So we can have a question like positive number plus negative number. How you will do that? Let's look at it firstly on the number line. Let's visualize that into the number line. So take, I have a question like +6 plus -4. So they say that I have a question something like this. Now what I have to do here? I have to plus this +6 to the -4. So let's do that. Firstly, let's bring our number line. So, take that I have a number line over here. It is going in these two directions, and at the center of that is a 0 over here, like you can see that. Now, the -1 or the -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. And over here also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So take that. Here is the number line going in this way and also into this way. Now how I will represent this question on the number line. So firstly, you can see I am standing on the 0 over here. So what does it tells us? It tells us firstly I have to walk 6 steps to the right of the 0. So let's move. So 6 steps to the right of the 0. That means something like this. 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and then 6. I had reached at the positive 6 over here, you can see. Now what I have to do next? I have to move back 4 steps because -4 represents 4 steps at the left. So let's do that. Firstly, what we have to do here? 4 steps at the left. So it will look like something like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now at what point I had reached? I had reached 2. And what is it? It is a positive 2 or a negative 2? It is a positive 2. That means my answer will be positive 2. So that's what my answer will be. Now you will ask, if I am solving the problems, will I have to draw the whole number line and then do that? No, there is a way that you can do without the number line, without the help of the number line. Let's learn that way also. So let me raise this one and the number line also. Now here I have no number line. Now let's solve this problem. Firstly, you have to look at this equation. Now you have to see that if there is different sign or the opposite sign, if I want to add the positive number to the negative number or the negative number to the positive number, if the sign is opposite, so here is a way how to do that. Firstly, you have to find the absolute value of these numbers. So what will the absolute value? 6 and 4. Let me write down for you. So your first step will be something like this. Absolute value will be the 6. And then absolute value will be the 4. Now what you have to do? You have to find the difference of these numbers. Firstly, you have to find the difference of the absolute value. So that simply means 6 minus 4. That gives me 2. So I have now here 2. Now at the next step, what you have to do? You have to put the sign to this 2. Now how can you put the sign and how you will decide which sign should be put in here? So here you have to look at the larger or the larger absolute value. So in this case you can see here is the 6. The 4 is the smaller absolute value and the 6 is the larger one. So you have to look at the 6 and now which sign it carries? Is it a positive number or a negative number? It is a positive number. That means the answer over here, I will prefix the sign of the plus. or my answer will be equal to the positive 2. The same answer as the we had to do it on the number line. Now that's how we add the integers. Now what if this question looks something like this? Let me draw it. Let me write down like this. So if the sign was changed, something like this and this. So how you will do that? Let's do this also. So we had learned that what we have to do, we have to firstly find out the absolute value. So here the absolute value will be the same, 6 and 4. Then at next step what you have to find? The difference. So the difference I had got here is the 2. 6 minus 4 gives me 2. Then what you have to do next? You have to put the sign. And what we had learned? We had learned that you have to look at the larger absolute value sign. Here the larger absolute value is 6 and its sign is minus, or it is a negative number. So that means I have to put here the minus sign. That means my answer will equal to negative 2. So that's what our answer is here. Now, what if I want to add 2 positive numbers or 2 negative numbers? Here we had learned the opposite sign, so how to add the opposite sign. But let's learn how to add the same sign number, or the 2 negative number or 2 positive number. So let's take this examples also over here. You can see. And what I have here, I have this something like this. My question is something like this. Now let's take a number line over here also. So my number line goes like this. At the center is the 0 and then negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7 and so on, negative 8, negative 9, negative 10, and the number line goes so on. And over here also 1, the positive numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what I have here, my question says something like this. Firstly, what I have to do, I am standing on the 0 and I have to walk 6 steps to the left. So let's do that. So I am at the 0 and I have to move 6 steps at the left. That means something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I reached at here. Negative 6 or minus 6. Then what we have to do next? We have to move 4 steps to the left. Let's do that again. So we are at this point. Let's move on. 4 steps to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. I had reached to my answer, which is minus 10. So my answer of this question will be equal to minus 10 or negative 10. I think this is clear to you. Now you have a question. I think you have a question that how we will do this without the number line. So let's do that also. Firstly, let me erase this number line. So now I have the question something like this. Without the number line. Let's do this. So firstly, if the signs are equivalent or the signs are similar to each other, if we are adding the 2 negative number or 2 positive numbers, so what you have to do, you have to just plus the absolute value. Let me tell you. So the absolute value of this the negative 6 is equal to 6. And then the absolute value of the negative 4 will be something like this. So we have the absolute value as this. Now what I have to do next? I have to here add these. So that means that I have to just plus this, and my answer will be something like this, 10. Then you have to put the sign. So you have to look at the larger value. So here again the larger value, the larger absolute value is 6, and then we have to look at the sign of the 6, which is the minus, or this is negative number. So my answer will be also the negative, something like this. Now what happens that the question is something like this. So what you will do? You have to just do the same, and then you have to put the sign something like this. Answer will be the positive 10. I think that addition of integers is clear to you. Now let's recap these. Now let's learn these properties of addition. So firstly, let's talk about the additive inverse. So in the additive inverse, what is this? So take a number something like minus 6. So an additive inverse of a number is the number which, if I will add the additive, that means like take that this is a negative 6 and I have its additive inverse. So if I will add this 6 and its additive inverse, I should get the 0. I should get the 0. So the additive inverse, how you will find that? Just you have to write the opposite of the sign. What I mean, you have to write the opposite of this minus 6. The opposite of this will be the positive 6 or the plus 6. So what is this meaning? What is the meaning of this? That the additive inverse of any number will be the opposite of that number. Let me tell you. So the additive inverse of this minus 6 will be the plus 6. So if I will add these, I will get my answer as 0. So what is the additive inverse? The additive inverse of a number should add up to the 0. I think that additive inverse is clear to you. You have to just write the opposite sign. You have to write the first, like take that another example like plus or positive 18 or positive 20. Let's see positive 20. So what will be its additive inverse? So the additive inverse of this number will be, first what you have to write? You have to just write the number. So the number over here is the 20. So write that number over here, and then you have to just change the sign. So here it is positive. Now you have to make it as a negative. Then the answer should give me the 0. You can check it out. So let's talk about the additive. Now let's talk about the closure property of this addition. So let me tell you, the closure property is just integer plus integer will be always integer. It will not be a fraction or it will not be a decimal. It will be always a integer. Let me tell you, like we are plussing here, like take this example over here. So my answer is over here 0. So 0 is also a integer. So if I am plussing or if I am adding two integers, I will get the sum as a integer. I think this property is also clear. So we had learned till now that integers, about the integer, what is an integer, then the absolute value, then the addition of integer, then the adaptive inverse and closure property. So let's learn about the associative property and the commutative property. So it is also so simple. Let me tell you. So you know that if I will change the order of the addition, I will get the same answer. Like 5 plus 3 gives me 8 and 3 plus 5 will also give me 8. So if it will be something like this and here like this. So again the answer will be like this. You know. Now this will be the answer. So if I will change the order, it does not matter. The answer will be the same. So this property is known as the associative. Sorry about that. I had told you the commutative property. It is not the associative property. This is a commutative property. This one is the commutative property. If we will change this, it is the commutative property. In the associative property, what happens that if I will change the brackets, let me tell you, this is not a bracket, this don't represent the bracket. I had just write these so that you can understand this is a -3 and this is a -5. So if I will change a bracket, something like this, this was the commutative property. We had learned here commutative property. Now we will learn the associative property. So in the associative property, what happens that take the question something like this: 5 plus 3 and here -2. So something like question is something like this. Now what happens in the associative property that if I will change, like this is something like this. So if I will change the bracket, the answer will remain the same. Let me tell you. Like in this case, first 3 plus 2 gives me 5 and then 5 plus 5 gives me 10. And in the next, if I will change the bracket, something like this, plus 2. So if the question is something like this, so the answer will remain same and the answer will be 10. Let's check. So 5 plus 3 gives me 8 and 8 plus 2 gives me again 10. So you can see that these answers are same. Now this is what associative property represent. Do you notice the difference? In the commutative property, we have changed the operations. Not the operation, the order. We had changed the order. But in the associative property, we had changed the bracket. This is what a difference between the associative property and the commutative property. Now, I think that the video should be ended here. And if you find any mistakes, so please comment it in the comment box. And thank you for watching this video and have a cheerful day ahead. Thank you.